fam, it's Monte Carlo. Welcome to Ramsay Redemption. If it's your first time hanging out with us, that's because this is our very first video. Welcome. So here's the deal. Gordon Ramsay has lots of opinions, especially when it comes to food. And anytime you send him a picture of your food on Twitter and he thinks it's borderline crazy pants, he is gonna burn you. I'm here to redeem your dishes. Let's see what the big man has to say about this week's dish. This steak has died 1,000 deaths. What happened here? What is that next to the steak? It is the most wilted. Look at it, looks like my hopes and dreams after my divorce. Are you ready to redeem this dish? We are gonna make a fabulous steak for our Ramsay Redemption. Let's do this. We're gonna start with a fabulous ribeye steak. Now, why do we love the ribeye? If you have a tendency to burn your steaks, you need a little forgiveness in your life. Here's an awesome trick if you want to create an amazing crust. You have to dry off your steak. All right, now that it's nice and dry, we're gonna salt it with kosher salt. The flakes on kosher salt are a lot bigger. And you're going to use more salt than you think you need. It needs to be coated on all sides. You ready? You see that? Okay. Now, we're going to make this steak Puerto Rican. You know how you know you're dealing with a Puerto Rican? They won't shut up about it, like me. In Puerto Rico, we have a great spice blend. It's called adobo. If you want a recipe for adobo, I've got it for you in the description below. Check it out. Now, we're gonna let this steak rest overnight in the fridge. Why? The salt that we just poured on it is going to dry brine the steak. That's just a fancy way of saying it's gonna suck out all the juices and the steak's gonna be like, give it back! And all that flavor is gonna be inside and amazing. So you can leave it uncovered. We'll put that in right now and leave it in for at least an hour, but preferably overnight. Let your steak rest for at least a half an hour so it comes up to room temperature, and then put your salt and your spices on it just before it hits the pan. Let's talk about our pan. You have to get it smoking hot. I want you to check out what water does when you put it in a smoking hot pan. Oh, I love it, science. We're gonna add some pepper to it. We're gonna add a little more salt, olive oil. Cover that pan in oil and then put your steak in away from you. Otherwise, you're gonna get a scar. You see that? Battle wounds. Right now, we're creating an incredible sear. You won't be able to move the steak until the proteins release the steak from the pan. That's how you know that sear has started. Yes, that looks great. Look at this. Beauteous. It's tender like a love song. What I'm doing now is searing the fat. That's so important to do. Nobody likes a big, gross, uncooked piece of gristle. Sometimes I like to pretend that's my ex-husband's face. Danger if you're watching, mommy's totally kidding. That is almost ready to go. We're gonna add a couple knobs of butter and butter baste. Our garlic. The trick to basting is to tip the pan. We're not burning the steak like the one Gordon just sent me. We are cooking it. We are not burning it. All right. You could rest this steak on a plate, but why? You're just gonna ruin that crust that you've been working on. Instead, rest it on a sheet pan. Oh yeah. I'm so serious, nobody's touching this. All right, we're gonna take this garlic out because it's gonna burn. It's given its life up for us. Thank you, garlic. Thank you. All these pan juices, we're gonna keep them. Not all of them, about 2 tablespoons worth. It's where the flavor is. Bistec encebollado is Spanish for steak with onions. So here we have a bunch of onions. We're gonna add the onions to our pan. A little saltiness. That salt is gonna help sweat the liquid out of the onions. You see that, all that steam? While these onions are going off, we are gonna mince some garlic. But when you're mincing, it has a tendency to stick and it can be a little bit of a pain. So what you're going to do is grab some salt, put it over, and that's gonna help the chop. We're gonna want to mince it almost into a paste, okay? Put your palm on the knife and press it forward and away from you, not towards you. If you do it towards you, you're gonna get cut, and then you're gonna blame me, you're gonna write me a bunch of crazy nonsense on Twitter. And then please don't use the sharp end of your knife to scrape, that ruins your knife. You can use the back of the knife, and we are gonna add it to our onions. Why do we not add the garlic right away when we add the onions? Because garlic is like our very sensitive best friend, okay? It gets burnt real fast. As soon as you start smelling that garlic bloom, we are going to add our vinegar and a chicken stock to create a pan sauce. This is apple cider vinegar. You can use white distilled vinegar. That's traditional in Puerto Rico. All right, why are we making a pan sauce? Because we're elevating a dish, okay? Gordon Ramsay has to sign off on this and say it has been redeemed. We're gonna just go ahead and let this garlic and onion mixture cook down. You're gonna want it to reduce by half. That sauce is going to thicken considerably with the help of our friend butter. Beauteous! We are going to cut the steak after it's rested so the juices don't flow out of it. We want juicy, beautiful steak. Now, we're gonna cut at an angle. That is another way to create tenderness because we're cutting the muscle fibers teeny tiny and short and at an angle. Angle your knife. Do you see how I'm holding it at an angle? Do that. It's beautiful. It is time to plate. We're gonna plate it with rice and beans, as is traditional in Puerto Rico. It is already looking so much better. I'm gonna cover it with our beautiful, amazing onions. Yes. Now, I'm gonna garnish it, because you need a little green, okay? You can pick cilantro leaf by leaf, or you can be smart about it and just use a fork to get all the leaves off, okay? Do you see how fast that was? You're welcome. I'm paying homage to the last dish because, you know, Stephanie did plate it with that little bit of lettuce. I see you, Stephanie. You were trying to be green, girl. Bello! Look at this! Stephanie, your steak was more burnt than Kanye after he didn't let Taylor finish. Mine is cooked to perfection. This dish has been redeemed. He better say he loves it. He better say it. He's gonna say it, right? Let's see what Gordon thinks.
Someone needs to eat this dish.
Listen, we all have dishes that need redemption. Take a picture of yours or a video and send it to us with the hashtag Ramsay Redemption. We'll fix it. Thanks for hanging out. Make sure to hit subscribe. Gordon needs like 11 million more followers. Show off. Too hot. Are all the alarms gonna go off? That would be so amazing.